everyone, this is Brenda from Mainly Hybrid Homesteading. I hope you're doing well today. Today is June 25, 2023. I thought it was time for a garden update. Just finished weeding the garden. We had a lot of weeds and we've had a lot of rain and cooler weather for this time of year, which I hear has been happening pretty much throughout the Northeast. We've had a lot of rain, so I think some of the seeds have just been rotting in the ground. So some things are doing well, some things are struggling. I've had to replant some seeds and some of them didn't come up, so I'm going to do one more replanting today. And we're actually expecting some rain this evening, and I'm hearing some thunder or rolling thunder in the distance, so hopefully we can get through this before it starts raining. And hopefully I can plant my seeds before it starts raining. But we did get rain last night, so that was helpful. And we did get some sun today, which the garden really needs some sun. We also had an issue with some deer. We were gone for 3 days and we could see them on the security cameras. And of course, because our dog Ellie wasn't here either, they took advantage of having some snacks throughout the garden. So we'll show you what they did with that. Let's get started. So these are the 2 new raised beds that Tim made for me, and if it can stay dry enough for a couple of days in a row, I want to protect the outside of these with some linseed oil. Oh, it's moving in. Okay, see what we can get done here. So this is mostly an herbal garden, so sage, I don't know, I think that might be sage, but that's the only one that looks like it might be, or maybe that one. It's struggling. So I'm going to be putting some more seeds down, and also this is supposed to be oregano. I don't know, I think this might be oregano, I'm not sure. Again, I'm going to be putting some more seeds down, and I'm going to try some oregano in pots as well. And trying to grow some feverfew, and a lot of these I think might be weeds. I am not sure. I'll have to look them up on my plant app on my phone. Echinacea, I think we are getting some here. I don't know, those might be weeds, but hopefully that's echinacea. And lemon balm, I know definitely these little baby plants here are lemon balm. These are plants that I had started, and I know I planted some seeds as well, so I think that might be one, and that might be one, and over here. So I really do hope that is lemon balm. And here we are supposed to be growing some chamomile. I don't really see any activity over here. So I may, which I'm kind of bummed out about, because I really wanted some chamomile. Try it out in some tea and tinctures and stuff. So probably going to be replanting that. And over here we have our pumpkins. They're doing well. Haven't noticed any sign of worm infestation at this point, but keeping a close eye on them. And over here I did plant some beets, and they are starting to come up. This was a little bit after my first plantings, and this was kind of an empty spot, and that's an empty spot back there. I'm going to be putting some lettuce in there today. And thyme, supposed to be growing over here. I am not sure. A lot of these plants are new to me, so I am not 100% sure what they are supposed to look like. when they're baby plants. And this is supposed to be parsley. Again, not really seeing anything that might look like parsley. This is my moringa plant here that desperately needs to be transplanted into a bigger pot, but it's surviving. And into the first garden here, to our left we have some zucchini. I've had to replant some zucchini. You can see my second planting is starting to come up here, and there's another one back there. Along the trellis here we have some snow peas, as well as on this side, and they're doing well. And summer squash is doing very well. I did also fill in some holes, and those are starting to come up as well. And then over here in our in-ground garden that we created, have some small green pepper plants here that are struggling. And this was my most beautiful one, and the deer or something just chomped off the top and the flowers that were growing there. So hopefully that will come back. And over here I think I planted some more beets, and those are starting to come up. Really been struggling with string beans this year. This was supposed to be like 3 rows, and I planted some more seeds, and you can see that one plant is coming up, but this plant got eaten. The top just got eaten right up. And then pole beans are also struggling, and I have tried to fill in these holes, and again, there's a weed I missed. And the radishes are growing. This whole row was supposed to be radishes, but there's a big hole there in the middle. I did do a second planting, and it looks like there is a small one there, but just one. Oh, and maybe 3 at the end. The Swiss chard seems to be coming up nicely. I really do need to plant some more in another bare spot in the garden, because we love Swiss chard. But I thought they would do well under the trellis here with some shading once the pole beans grow, if they ever grow. And having more success with spinach this year, so we have a little bit there. There is a open area in the middle, and then some more towards the end of the row. The lettuce, again, only half the row, and then there's nothing over here. So going to be replanting lettuce as well. Pole beans on this side are not doing much better. This bed here, supposed to be some more bush beans, and not one seed has come up. So here in the middle we have some tomato plants, and I want to say these have been chomped on as well. Look at that. Something ate them. We gotta get this part of the garden fenced in again. And so here I had an empty spot, and I did plant some string beans, and we have 2 plants that are coming up so far. It doesn't look like they got this tomato plant, but they're struggling to stay alive. And now I can see why. Over here, supposed to be watermelon. These are the sad looking seedlings that I had started, and yeah, they're not going to make it. And I also planted some seeds in the middle here, and also nothing's coming up from that. Here we have some green onions, which are starting to come up, but you can see they've got like dried little ends on the plants, so they're having a hard time. And over here is supposed to be comfrey, and I don't see anything growing except weeds in this bed. And comfrey is also one of the herbs that I really wanted, because it's good for skin healing particularly. Let's go back here and look at our berry bushes that the deer had a snack on. I am going to have to cover these with netting. These were doing wonderfully, and I'm sure they'll bounce back, but I didn't know that they ate the foliage of the berry plants. Thought it was just the fruit. But rhubarb is doing great. I really need to get in there and harvest some and get that drying. And here another, didn't seem to have touched this blueberry plant. And amazingly, they didn't touch this blueberry plant that has some blueberries growing on it. This one was untouched. Maybe they don't like blueberry plants. But this one, they did eat the leaves. And this one was left alone, it looks like. So I don't think they like the blueberry plants. So I'm not sure if this is blackberry or raspberry, but they definitely had a good snack on this one. And coming around here on the outside of the fence, my chives are still alive. Kind of forgot about them out back here, but I didn't have any luck starting chives from seed last summer, so I got a plant, and probably going to add some more seeds here and see if we can get a patch going. And look at the catnip. It's like just about 4 feet tall. I couldn't grow it for the life of me last summer, and I guess I need to come in and start harvesting and drying some of this for the kitty cats and for tea. But looks very healthy. I think I might have pulled it out last year thinking it was a weed. I don't know. It's all a learning process. And over here, our daisies are doing well. So much so that they are kind of taking over here. I have my lavender plant here, which is doing well. We got some clove in the middle, but it's definitely flowering this year. It didn't flower last year, but gonna have to move this, not now, but closer to fall. I've got 3 plants that are growing, and they're getting squeezed out by the other flowers in this area. And more daisies, which these are getting out of control. I'm probably going to have to either split these up, or because look, here's another little lavender plant that's trying to survive. I think I may just kind of get some rope and pull this back so it can get some sun and some air. Hosta is also going crazy, and our irises are done blooming now, but they are also getting bigger every year, and they are overcrowding my little rose bush here. So I'm definitely going to have to split these up and let the rosebush have some more room. This plant, I can't remember what it's called. I did look it up on my app. It's just going crazy. I have never seen it bloom, so it's just loving this weather, I guess. But this will bloom pretty much throughout the summer. And it does spread. And you can see it's squeezing out my other lovely lavender plant. So some of these are going to be a work in progress. Tim is still doing some work on this ditch area. So, but he's not going to be touching along the fence here. But I need to figure out where these things are going to go. So strawberries along where the fence used to be are doing well. Tim has already picked some strawberries here and there. And here in our other garden, in-ground garden, we have some cucumbers here. These are been having a hard time. I don't know if their plants are getting eaten or they're just not coming up, but this is one of the ones that I had to plant a second time. You can see there's some younger plants there, but there's still some hills where there's not much going on, so probably gonna throw a couple more seeds in there. Here we have some carrots, and those are growing well. I mean, they should be higher at this time of year, but they look healthy. Here we have some butternut squash. These also didn't all come up, so you can see here that I have some younger plants that did come up. And here the beets are doing very well. And they're almost big enough where I can probably start thinning them out a little bit so they'll grow bigger. Here we have another patch of carrots. Those are doing well. And this is supposed to be wild lettuce. And again, I've never grown wild lettuce, but I don't know. I saved these plants here because they looked different. So I think they might be the wild lettuce coming up. So we'll see. Just letting them get a little bigger, and then I'll look them up on my plant app. This is supposed to be agrimony, and I am not sure, but I think that might be my agrimony. I think that's a weed, but that might be one there, and then one there. So if that's the agrimony, then great. Rosemary. Rosemary's not coming up. That may be another one that I try growing in a pot so I can bring it in the fall. I was hoping to get some established outside. We're in grow zone 5. So I think it's hit or miss whether they'll overwinter well, but I've read that you can, if you mulch them heavily, they may survive the winter. Here we have our mullein. I had transplanted 4 plants. 2 of them survived. And I also planted some seeds, but I don't see anything coming up. I thought this might be a young mullein. I don't know. But Tim had a good point. You know, this grows everywhere around here in our yard and other areas. So why waste our good garden space with the mullein when I can harvest it in other areas of the yard? So if there's no mullein that comes up here, definitely going to use up the space to grow something else this summer. And at any rate, we've got 2 plants there. This is my asparagus patch, and was happy to see we have 2 little asparagus popping up. There should be some more along this area. They haven't popped up yet, but I'm going to keep adding to this asparagus patch. And this part of the patch here, there's nothing growing here, although I think I may have planted something else, but more asparagus will go there in the spring. Over here, had a couple sweet potatoes that were sprouting on their own. So I had covered it with dirt, but you can see here that it's peeking out. And I think there's a little bit peeking out over here. I planted 2 potatoes, sweet potatoes. So the rest of this is regular potatoes, and these are doing well. Nothing's happening in that mound. And then got a couple plants there, and 3 plants over here. So hopefully we'll get some good potatoes this year, better than last year. In this corner we have spaghetti squash, and those are looking healthy. No sign of the vine moth borer issues that we've had in the past, but we're definitely not past the danger zone. Oh, I wanted to mention the potatoes. Looks like they've got a couple potato beetles on them, so I have to research what I can do to get rid of those, because I don't want them chewing up all my plants. Over here we have our Mizuna greens, and these are coming up nicely. These will get really big. And then I was going to plant celery back here, and I know I planted something else about a week ago, maybe beets or radishes. It's going to be a surprise. But something else is planted there. Turnips are doing well. Almost getting big enough that we can start harvesting some leaves to eat. And the dill, some of it is growing. It seems to be struggling a little bit. Got some there, and a little bit down the row. That's another one I'm going to be adding some more seeds to today. And the broccoli is not doing too badly. I had started some from seed, but it really didn't do well. But these were just planted, the seeds were just planted in the ground. So hopefully we will get some good broccoli this summer. So that's it, guys. That's the start of our garden this year. I wish I could be in here full time. My favorite place to be. And you always wish it was bigger, but this is a manageable size right now. It's definitely keeping me busy enough. Getting it off the ground, and then later on with harvesting and preserving whatever we harvest. So our goal is to get another property eventually and have a much bigger garden and just be as self-sufficient as possible. That's our goal. So this is our start this year. Let us know how your garden's doing, if you've been struggling with the rain and the lower temperatures. Or maybe you have the opposite situation. Maybe you just don't have enough water. That can also be an issue. Thanks for joining us today, and please like and share this video and subscribe if you haven't already done so. We'll see you next time. Bye.